the first time some of us are seeing you in public after that very controversial story involving VDM and Bobrisky. What exactly is your own side of the story in this matter?
Well, so I think it's a question of infantile radicalism. Some of our young people are just not prepared to look at the provisions of the law with respect to the law on defamation. So they just simply go out there to embarrass people. I can say this without any fear of contradiction. I have assisted 280 people, convicted people, at home and abroad, to get pardon. On one occasion, 200 Nigerians were convicted in Libya for drug-related offenses. But because the trials were conducted in Arabic, and none of them spoke Arabic, I petitioned the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. That commission, at our instance, I did a petition on behalf of SERAP. At our instance, the commission issued a provisional order, like an injunction, restraining the government of Libya from executing the Nigerians. I think Abike Dabiri was then the chair of the Diaspora Committee of the House of Reps. That committee had appealed to the federal government in vain. But based on our intervention, the court issued an order, and we wrote to, 2 months later, President Gaddafi, the late Muammar Gaddafi, became the chair of the African Union. And we took advantage of that to write to him and appeal to him to pardon this Nigeria by complying with the judgment of the African Commission. And that if you do not, you will be showing a bad example as the leader of the continent, as the chair of the African Union. President Gaddafi granted our request and granted pardon to the 200 convicted Nigerians on death row. They were deported and brought back to Nigeria. On another occasion, and this was 2015, we appealed to General Muhammadu Buhari, 70 soldiers and a general who was demoted to the rank of a colonel had fought the terrorists, but they didn't have adequate equipment. Mr. President, since you set up a presidential arms procurement panel, which had confirmed those who looted the huge sums, over $2 billion, earmarked for procurement of arms, please, can you grant pardon to these guys who were illegally convicted and sentenced? The 70 soldiers were sentenced to death. General Eniton Ransom Kuti was demoted to the rank of a colonel and also jailed for 6 months. We got the Army Council to quash his conviction for 6 months, and we now appeal to President Buhari to pardon him. Happily, his rank has since been restored. He has retired now as a brigadier general, while we are pursuing the demand for payment of the rights, the entitlement, outstanding salaries and allowances of the 70 soldiers. So I can go on and on. You recall in 1991, 12 young people under 17 were illegally sentenced to death, convicted of armed robbery, and sentenced to death in Lagos by an armed robbery tribunal. Again, we stopped there. We rushed to the court to stop their execution. And when a civilian government came on board in 1992, we appealed to you, the late Chief Michael Detodola, as the governor of Lagos State, to pardon these young people. They were pardoned. And so we already have a list of about 280 people. On no occasion, in none of these cases, has our law firm demanded for or received a dime, a kobo, from anybody who has been granted pardon?
Mr. Falana,
I was therefore flabbergasted.
Yeah. So there are those who will say, did Bobrisky actually reached out to you? Did Bobrisky speak or directly or indirectly to you? If that is the case or not the case, what are you doing? You've written a letter seeking a retraction of it. But what are you doing to establish your innocence in what has been an allegation on this matter?
No, Seun. Bobrisky never spoke to me. I have never met him. I do not know him from Adam. He was alleged to have spoken to my son, Falana, Fars. Yes, my son said this guy was appealing to people for assistance and called my son, I think on May 4 thereabout this year. Please, can you give me 3 million naira to be placed in a special part of the prison? We'll call it the VIP section. And my son asking, are you calling me under the authorization of the superintendent of prisons? He said, no, please. Don't call me again. I'm unable to assist you to bribe the prison authorities. And be very careful, since you're already in jail for an offense. Please, if you are going to come in next time, you either do it through the superintendent or you write a letter endorsed by the prison authorities. And that was the last. Somebody now said he listened to a tape somewhere and went out to lampoon and rather defame me by saying the guy had spoken to me. Of course, we are going to examine the call logs. And my son has also said, this was the guy who originated a call to me. My son has never negotiated fees on behalf of anybody. On the contrary, my 3 children normally refer people who need assistance to me, and not those. In fact, my wife was asking our kids recently, why are you always sending people who are not able to pay our fees? Next time we are going to be charging you. So this is the position. Now what I'm going to do, I have resisted the temptation shown to file a criminal complaint because I'm leading a team of lawyers in West Africa campaigning for decriminalization of freedom of expression. We have succeeded. This campaign is being coordinated by the Media Foundation for West Africa, of which I'm a member of the board. We have succeeded in getting Liberia, Ghana, and Sierra Leone to decriminalize freedom of expression. We are still appealing to other countries in the region to ensure that we respect freedom of expression. But that is not a license for defaming people, for blackmailing people. Once, and what we are saying, if you are defamed, in the words of the late Justice Olatawura, in the case of Otawankwa and the state, if you are defamed by anybody, please go out there and sue for libel, where you put your own character in issue. In this case, we are not going to file a criminal complaint. We will not be pushed to do that. I'm currently defending a couple of journalists who are standing trial either under the Cyber Crimes Act or under criminal libel. But what you are going to do is to embark on civil proceedings with a view to restoring our integrity, my own name and that of my son, so that nobody will simply rush to the social media to defame any Nigerian. We want to make an example. In this case, we have asked for a retraction and an apology rendered to us. And that is not too much. And if we don't have a retraction, an apology acceptable to us, accepted by us, we are certainly going to initiate civil proceedings in the High Court.
Yeah, Mr. Falana, because this is actually not, I mean, I'm saying for the sake of the public who have not seen or heard from you in this matter, who have the benefit of hearing your own side of the story. And that's why I brought it up. But I know how painful this could be, especially if you have built a reputation over the years. Now, the question here. Yeah, the question, quickly, Mr. Falana, because of the main subject for which I invited you. I'd like you to touch on the fundamentals aside the defamation or the libelous angle to this matter. Is the alleged corruption involved in our correctional service or with the EFCC about the withdrawal of a money laundering case dependent on a possible inducement? Just in about 60 seconds, Mr. Falana, so that we can get to the substantive matter for which we are here. I'm a former inmate of the correctional centers in the country. I also do prison work. I've exposed the rot in the prisons more than any Nigerian. On one occasion, I did the report revealed that between 2005 and 2006, and I have a government report to this effect, that 197 people convicted of drug trafficking in the Federal High Court in Ikoyi, convicted and sentenced to prison terms without any option of fine, never made it to any prison in Nigeria. Never. When I petitioned the authorities, I think they declared them wanted. Only one was found. The rest went back to the trade. I'm still pursuing this matter. Secondly, everybody who has been to the prison, either as an inmate, an awaiting trial person, or a convict, knows that in every correctional center in Nigeria, there is a VIP section. It is called the White House. It's for big people. It's for big men and women. If you are a man of means or a woman of means, and you are detained in our prisons or correctional centers, you are going to be accommodated in the VIP section in the White House. So I'm rather surprised that the House of Reps was pretending not to know this, that a panel is being set up to know the state of our correctional center. But the Correctional Services Act of 2019 has made adequate provisions for checking the excesses of prison officials. I've just done a letter to the Honorable Minister of Interior, who is doing a marvelous job in that Ministry of Interior. I wrote to him a couple of weeks ago, Honorable Minister, by virtue of Section 21 of the Correctional Services Act, there shall be prison visitors. Visitors to go to visit our correctional centers on a regular basis and write reports, recommend what the government should do to address problems in our correctional center. And the minister has called me to assure me that the appointments will be carried out as soon as possible. So for me, if we have prison visitors going to the correctional centers on a regular basis, independent people, public officers, judges, members of the National Executive Body of the Nigerian Bar Association, as provided by the law, if they carry out their statutory duties, our country will not be exposed from time to time with respect to the management of correctional center. Nigeria has the lowest number of convicts in the world, having regards to our population, because the correctional center are now reserved for the wretched of the earth, the poor, the underprivileged.
or the masses of our people. A big man or a big woman does not stay. I mean, it's difficult to ask a big man to go to the prison, even when they are charged. Even when a former governor, a former minister is charged with diverting billions of naira, you simply ask him to go to a correctional center for 2 days, awaiting the arguments on application for bail. So that's what is going on. It's only the poor that are railroaded to jail in Nigeria.